Hey guys, I'm Mackenzie Austin. Today I'm just going to be talking about my two documentary pitches today that I want to do. The first one that I came up with that I would prioritize doing first, just because of how I connect with it, is called The Common Art of Transferring. That's just kind of what I've been calling it since I thought of the idea. I've actually been thinking about doing this documentary for about 2 years now, so it would be exciting to get the ball rolling on doing that with this project. The tagline I came up for it is UNCC sophomore Anna Cercio tracks how her life has changed since transferring universities. So with this one, I would just sit down with Anna and talk about how her life has different from how it was in New Jersey. She's originally from New Jersey and went to a university up there. We talk about the reasons she chose to transfer, how she chose UNCC, and the steps she's made to make her life different than it was at her previous university, and how transferring has impacted her life either positively or negatively. And we'd go around campus and show a little bit about the activities she's involved with and get some B-roll from that. And then we'd also discuss with her roommates how her demeanor has changed, and possibly do a little virtual interview with her mom to see how her life has changed and how her personality or anything has become different since she has transferred either positively or negatively. The main idea of this is I really want to explain the reasons many people decide to transfer. There's a number of reasons, not all good, not all bad. And I also want to break down the stigma on transferring. I feel like many people think that transferring universities means you failed at your previous university, especially when you go from like an outer state school back to near your hometown, which is similar to what I did. So I felt a lot of that grief and that failure and defeat when deciding to transfer. I felt like I didn't belong either place. So that dives a little bit into how I connect to the subject. As I just mentioned, I am a transfer student. I transferred from the University of Tennessee to UNCC my sophomore year, and it was a tough process, but a process I knew I needed to make. But that didn't make deciding or telling people that I was transferring any easier. Transferring universities did turn my life around completely, and I'm in a much better place mentally, physically, emotionally than I was before. But I wouldn't trade that first year of being miserable at Tennessee for anything, because it taught me a lot of lessons, and I grew so much as a person that I couldn't imagine who I would be without that first year of growth. So with this one, I just really want to discuss transferring and make it more common to more people, because I feel that even though a lot of people transfer, people don't think that a lot of people transfer, or that might just have been a misviewed thing in my head. But I think we need to make it more aware that you can transfer and there's nothing wrong with transferring. It's okay not to get it right on the first time. It's just like changing majors sometimes. For my next pitch, this one I've been calling the Mayor of Troutman. The tagline is Jody Austin, a U.S. Navy veteran, takes us through a day in retirement and shows us how he got his nickname. So with this one, I would follow Jody Austin on nearly waking up to going to bed that night, and just see how he goes about his day and why the residents of Troutman find him so intriguing, and how he is involved in the community now that he is retired. We'd also go over his multitude of hobbies that not all 70-plus-year-olds do, because he's a very interesting man with an array of activities to keep him busy. The main idea of this is to really just entertain and explain this, I wouldn't call him eccentric, but oddball, interesting guy of Troutman, and how the community has deemed him the Mayor of Troutman, despite him not actually being the mayor, having no role on any council or anything political whatsoever, or government form at all. He's just so involved. He seems to be everywhere at once, and everybody knows him wherever he goes. Why they deemed him the Mayor of Troutman. How I connect to this subject is that Jody Austin is actually my grandpa, so I've had a little bit of the secondhand experience of everywhere you go. They know Jody Austin, so although I don't have a cool nickname like the Mayor Troutman, my nickname is you're Jody Austin's granddaughter. Not as cool, but still an experience. Troutman is also my hometown, so I know a lot of the residents, and I would interview some of the residents about their how they perceive Jody Austin and why they find him intriguing, because he is definitely a very interesting guy, a very cool guy, and it's very interesting to see how he's gone from nearly nothing in his childhood to quite literally fighting in the war, and now having a really nice home and a really good family and community connections, and just kind of living a more quiet life that he likes to make loud for some reason. Um, yeah, so those were my two documentary pitches. Let me know what you think, and that's it for me.